This is a special presentation from the Brighton Central School District Board of Education.
Good evening. Welcome to the Brighton Central School District Board of Education business meeting and tenure recognition for Tuesday, June 11th. This meeting is called to order. Welcome, everyone. It is going to be a great and fun night. I want to quickly do something a little different, and I'm going to say something I never do, which is either Annalise or Bill, put your camera on me for a second, because I'm going to ask Mike in the back room, who runs our control board, Bill right here, and Annalise to come and stand right in front of me, please. We're going to go on autopilot, folks, for just a second. It's okay.
Did Mike know?
Everybody knew. They all knew.
Okay.
So we meet all during the school year, and people are able to zoom in at times, turn around and face your cameras, please, people. They don't want to see me. And for those of you who tonight may have some family watching, either on Facebook Live or whatever format, this is the team that makes it happen for us each and every public session. We are grateful to them. I usually remember to recognize them at the end of the meeting, but it seemed appropriate tonight to recognize them at the beginning and ask them to come in front of the camera. So a round of applause for these great people, please. In addition to Annalise, who's a student this year, during this past year, we've had Violet, Simon, Seth, and Joy, and my thanks to Bill for putting those names together. Just great people. And I'll speak for the board and say, we just show up, microphones work, cameras work, everything just works, and we're grateful for all of them. Also, out of camera is Dan Goldman, our communications person. Want to give thanks to him. Right there. Just had a birthday. And of course, our wonderful clerk, Kim Lanzafame. People behind the scenes. And now, as is always the case, great way to start the evening is Dr. McGowan with the Brighton Believers Awards.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. As we mention each time, the Brighton Believes Council selects nominees to receive a Brighton Believes Award for demonstrating that Brighton believes character traits of integrity, respect, responsibility, kindness, and self-control. The award winners are students, teachers, community members, parents, coaches, and the nomination form is available online. It's such a great way to start this conversation when people are really modeling the types of things that we're hoping kids are learning and seeing from us each and every day. And tonight is no exception. We've got a couple of very worthy recipients. For the first presentation, I'd like to ask one of our board members, Dr. Gasparino, to come on up, along with our board clerk and our colleague in our office, Kim Lanzafame. Would be great to come on up and help with this presentation. And then if also I could see, please, Mary Kate Moore, if you could come on up, Mary Kate. And Hadley, can you join us also, please? Very important. She's the sub-clerk. There's nothing sub about her, though. Mary Kate Moore is a clerical substitute and parent here in Brighton. Also, very good friend of Dr. Gasparino. But Dr. Gasparino representing this building along with Kim Lanzafame, who nominated Mary Kate. Again, clerical substitute and parent here in Brighton. And Kim Lanzafame wrote, Mary Kate demonstrates kindness in her work every single day. She's the first person you see when you enter the building. And let me tell you, it is the greatest to see Mary Kate when you walk in the building. There's no greater way to start your day than seeing Mary Kate. She always greets and welcomes everyone with her beautiful smile and a friendly, hello, how can I help you? She has a positive attitude and she truly brightens everyone's day. She is kind, thoughtful, patient, and always goes above and beyond to help everyone she encounters. Mary Kate is our district office go-to receptionist who assists all the departments here at Central Office. There are times she doesn't know who to contact or how to answer a specific question, but she always goes above and beyond to find the answers. Mary Kate is extremely resourceful and intuitive. She is reliable, hardworking, and is always the first one to volunteer and jump in to help anyone who is in need. There is no task too big or too small for her. I am so grateful to have the opportunity to work so closely with Mary Kate. She is truly one of a kind, and all of us at Central Office are so very fortunate to have her working here with us. She makes all of us better every single day in every single way. For these reasons and so many more, Mary Kate and Hadley are very deserving of the Brighton Believes Award. Hadley helps out often as well, sometimes in the morning, and we're very grateful for that in your time also. Mary Kate, thank you so much for demonstrating Brighton Believes. Our next award recipients, Lucas Ogden, Steve Falter, could you come on up, please? Along with Danielle Edmonds. Thank you very much. So I'll tell you the story and just start by saying you're looking at two superheroes. Capes are at home, but two superheroes for sure. Okay. Mrs. Edmonds is regretting now. She would like to edit this presentation. But two teachers at 12 Corners Middle School, Mr. Ogden, Mr. Falter, but also TCMS Ski Club advisors. And they were nominated by our middle school principal, Danielle Edmonds, and myself. We wrote, as dedicated members of our teaching staff, it has always been apparent that Mr. Steve Falter and Mr. Lucas Ogden consistently go above and beyond for our students at TCMS and throughout the district. Beyond the amazing connections they make with students in class, they've organized team building activities, coached numerous sports at a variety of levels, organized and chaperoned cultural field trips, and annually supported approximately 100 middle schoolers in their weekly jaunts to Bristol Mountain for participation in Ski Club. So for those of you who are not around middle school students all the time, and or who ski or go out to Bristol or imagine like this scene, think about 100 middle schoolers, and that in and of itself in a contained environment might be enough to have you running for the hills. But to bring them then to Bristol, 100 kids, and keep track of that, that's what they do every week for Ski Club. While all of this is commendable in and of itself, their actions following a minor accident involving the bus returning from Bristol truly exemplify their outstanding character and commitment to our school community. In the face of unexpected adversity, it's a really good story, I don't want to lose my place. Unexpected adversity, Steve and Lucas remained calm and composed, prioritizing the needs of our young middle school students above all else. The two other cars involved were in very rough shape, and this was extremely upsetting for TCMS students to see. Steve and Lucas demonstrated remarkable kindness by providing comfort and reassurance to all of those involved, ensuring that they felt supported and cared for during this scary and stressful situation. Steve and Lucas also exhibited unwavering integrity by taking swift and decisive action to address the situation, coordinating with relevant authorities, and ensuring that the necessary measures were taken to guarantee the safety of our students. They immediately checked on the drivers of the other vehicles. So this happened coming out of Bristol, bus accident. They checked on the drivers and made sure that they did everything they could to guarantee the safety of our students. They communicated with our staff and families immediately. They were timely, they were quick. These were parents that were getting messages from their kids on the bus, and the messages from the kids on the bus, of course, described a scene that was in the description for middle school students. An unbelievable scene, although it was a serious accident, but it was even more so by middle school student standards, right? And they made sure that they gave clear, direct communication so the parents were reassured and knew what was going on. And I say that also very much as a parent receiving those communications. Quite simply, Steve and Lucas were the calm in the storm for all involved, but mostly for our students who needed them most, while also taking care of those that were involved in this accident, the other bystanders. They truly embody the qualities of a Brighton believer. We couldn't be more proud to call them TCMS teachers. Thank you both. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Dr. McGowan. Next up, we have the approval of this evening's agenda, which you all have received in advance. Any questions, changes, or edits to the agenda? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Susan,
Second.
seconded by Esther. All those in favor?
Aye.
Also, the approval of the minutes of our last meeting, the May 28th education meeting. You have had a chance to review those minutes. Any changes, edits, or comments with regards to those minutes? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Carrie Lynn,
Second.
seconded by Sue. All those in favor? They're approved. So the teacher tenure process is a two-step process. I'll first present the list of names to the school board here for approval, and then the next step, the next agenda item will be the actual handing of the certificate. So I just want everyone to be aware, we'll go do a two-step process and go through it. I'll first read the names for teacher tenure this year. Just an incredible group of adults working with our students, very excited about this. But I'll first read the names. Patricia Castro Hughes, Hannah Cohen, Andrew Conroy, Angela Dana, Jill Davis, Linda Flaherty, Travis Figueroa, Molly Glanville, Marissa Kenrick, Megan McSweeney, Catherine Munoz, Rebecca Rizzo, Andrea Yalman, Brianna Allen, Marteel Cunnyworth, and then our teaching assistant tenure recommendations, Megan Fess, Colleen Dye, and Emma Ling. Motion to approve these wonderful people for tenure, for both teacher tenure and teaching assistant tenure.
So moved.
Moved by Christina,
Second.
seconded by Esther. All those in favor? Aye. You should have had the applause meter back there, so that's the time to give applause. Now I'll ask Dr. McGowan to take the podium. Are we going to do it from here?
You take the podium. They come to you. So when your name is called, if you could come up to the podium, and Dr. Lee and Mr. Davis will hand a certificate to you, but I'll also be reading through your nomination and some information about each of the individuals. Sure. So I would ask you just to hang up there while we talk about how wonderful you are, and so your family can enjoy that moment as well. So don't run away too fast is, I guess, my point. The first person we'd like to recognize is Megan Fess. Megan has a bachelor's degree in education from SUNY Geneseo and also certification as a teaching assistant. Her experience prior to coming to us was as a paraprofessional at Monroe One BOCES, and she is a teaching assistant at French Road Elementary School. Also has worked in summer school in the same capacity. Colleen Coggins wrote to us about her tenure appointment, recommending her. Sorry, I had wind all of a sudden behind me. I thought the sheets were all going to blow. She worked at Creekside, as I mentioned before, coming to us, and works in the 1214 at French Road Elementary School. She works with a student that receives one-to-one support while in a self-contained classroom, and for the student's integration into the general education program. She supports her student with communication through a communication device and provides structures and routines that the student relies on in his daily learning. Megan is an asset to the FRES community and our special education program. Her cooperating teacher describes her as a person who gets on students' levels to play games, supports learning, and meets the students where they are. When you walk into the classroom, Megan will be sitting on the floor with the student learning or up at the table or desk to meet the preferred learning space of her student. Megan is reliable, responsible, and builds relationships with those with whom she works. It is not uncommon to see Megan jumping in to support not only the students she works directly with, but to support the other students in the classroom as part of their classroom community. She is a key member also of the dismissal team, keeping things moving as she dismisses students to parents each day. She's kind and respectful. Her care and dedication to our students in the 1214 program and throughout the school is greatly appreciated. It is for this and so many other reasons why we congratulate her on her tenure appointment tonight. Brianne Allen. Bree is a dedicated educator who creates a learning environment for all of her students in which they feel loved and comfortable to take risks. She has an amazing energy and ability to combine enthusiasm with a sense of calm, which is a perfect blend for a kindergarten classroom. She has incredible routines and her trust for her class. She's demonstrated so many wonderful attributes and skills after coming to us prior serving in the Honeoye Falls Central School District, following her education at SUNY Geneseo and a master's in literacy from St. John Fisher College. Students feel comfortable taking risks and stretching their brains in her classroom. Since being hired, she has worked supporting our students in the ENL program, and her nurturing way with students who may be new to the country or do not know the language is a perfect fit. She's incredibly collaborative with her K teammates and her ENL co-teacher. She is kind, creative, collaborative, and excellent at her craft. Bree is also very active within our school community, serving on several committees like ELA, Social Studies, and the Report Card Committee. She is a collaborative teammate, sharing her thoughts, ideas, and opinions at team meetings, as well as daily collaborating with members of her team to best support the students in her room. Her attention to students' social-emotional health is also a priority, and each of her students feel a sense of belonging and community while in her class. She has demonstrated excellence in teaching and leadership. She is positive, diligent, demonstrates commitment, and a love for her profession. For this and so many more reasons, we are excited for her tenure appointment. Patricia Castro Hughes. Patricia has a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary arts for children and a master's in early childhood education, first from SUNY Brockport and then Nazareth University. She has professional certifications in early childhood education and students with disabilities. She was a 5th grade teacher and 1st grade lead teacher in RCSD, a primary classroom lead teacher in a North Carolina Montessori school, and a dual language kindergarten teacher also at RCSD before joining us as a kindergarten teacher. She is a kind, calm soul who creates the most inquisitive and engaging learning environment for her students. She is loving and engaging for each child in her classroom. She allows students to discover in a way that engages and creates excitement in a way that is incredibly developmentally appropriate. Her students love to be in her classroom and look forward to what each day will bring in their new learning. She is also able to incorporate much of her own personality and culture into the classroom. It is not rare to walk into the room and have students chanting both in English and in Spanish. In this way, she models for her ENL students a program that she has supported since her arrival, diversity and persistence. Students love to learn and show off their new knowledge of this new language. Mrs. Castro Hughes is a valuable member of the entire school community, serving on the Habits of Mind Committee as well as the Report Card Committee. The Habits of Mind are something that Patricia is very committed to, and her students integrate them into nearly every discussion that they have. She also works to bring families into the use of Habits of Mind as well. She collaborates regularly with several members of her kindergarten team and her ENL cohort to ensure that students get what they need and are successful. Her kindness, compassion, dedication, and love for the profession and for her students are all a part of her excellence. She is most deserving of this appointment, and we are excited to congratulate her on her tenure appointment. Hannah Cohen. Hannah has a bachelor's degree in education, childhood education, and special education from SUNY Geneseo, and a master's in inclusive special education from Syracuse University. Certifications in childhood education, grades 1 through 6, students with disabilities, grades 1 through 6, students with disabilities birth through grade 6, and early childhood education. Prior to joining us as a kindergarten teacher, she was a special education teacher, kindergarten through 2nd grade in Spencerport. She also worked as a girls varsity volleyball assistant coach and has worked in the summer reading program as well. Hannah is a light within our staff, Mr. Tappan writes, always spreading positivity, kindness, and a can-do attitude. Nothing gets Hannah down, and this translates directly to her classroom and her students. She works each year to create a true classroom community where students learn, play, and thrive. She works tirelessly to determine what each child needs and then creates her program around that information. She is flexible, kind, supportive, and gentle as she helps guide her students through their kindergarten experience. Over her time here, she has collaborated with many different programs and is a team player no matter whom she is working with each year. Her work with parents is also exemplary. She communicates and has worked with parents who are very anxious about their children and their progress. She has served on the Building ELA and Social Studies committees and the School-Based Equity team. She is also, as I mentioned, coached volleyball for the district. She completes her probationary period, demonstrating an excellence in teaching and leadership. Her kindness, positivity, knowledge of great teaching, and love for the profession and for her students are all a part of her excellence. It is for this and many more reasons we are excited to congratulate her on her tenure appointment. Andrew Conroy. Perfect. Dad needs help. Appreciate that. Andrew Conroy has a bachelor's degree in political science from SUNY Geneseo Inclusive Adolescence Education from Nazareth University. His Juris Doctorate degree in law from Hofstra University and an LLM in taxation from New York University. He has certifications in social studies 7 through 12 and students with disabilities, grades 7 through 12 generalist. His teaching experience is all at Brighton High School, thank goodness. 2017 through 2020, part-time as a social studies teacher, and then joined us full-time probationary beginning in 2020. He was also the junior class advisor and the senior class advisor, also advised the Red Cross Club as well. Dr. Hall writes to me that Andy in past years has clearly demonstrated in all of Dr. Hall's interactions through past years, clearly demonstrated his incredibly caring, thoughtful, talented, professional, and collaborative personality. He has a tremendous gift for successfully working with all kinds of learners and goes out of his way to develop positive relationships with his students and their parents. Andy has been actively involved with students in our specialized Aspire Alternative High School program, our Syracuse University Project Advanced Economics class, SUPA, and in the regular classroom setting. He works extremely hard to ensure that all students feel success. He has created an exceptional learning environment in his room. It is welcoming and friendly with students actively involved in the lesson, on task, and free to participate throughout the class period. He knows his students on a personal level and cares for their mental health and well-being. It is essential to Andy and to the high school. Ashley Edwards, an assistant principal at the high school, provided a comment about Andy as well. She said he is an exceptional social studies teacher at BHS. He teaches first and foremost with his heart. His students know they can count on him to teach the necessary content, but to do so in a way that puts them and their best interest first. On any given day, when you walk by Andy's classroom during passing time, you'll often hear music playing, and he can be found at the door greeting each and every one of his students by name as they enter the classroom. As mentioned, he has served as the Red Cross Club advisor and has run several successful blood drives, led Brighton Believes Day activities, and is a co-advisor for the class of 2024. He's an exemplary role model for his colleagues and students alike. We are lucky that he has chosen to share his talents and expertise with us here at Brighton High School. I say that also as a parent who greatly benefited from his child being in your class. For this and so many reasons, we acknowledge and congratulate you on your tenure appointment. Marteal Cunnyworth. Marteal has a bachelor's degree in childhood with special education from SUNY Geneseo and a master's in literacy from Nazareth University. Professional certifications in childhood education and early childhood education, birth through second grade. She was a consultant teacher in Connecticut schools and then in the Rochester City School District before joining us. She was also a Promethean Board building leader in 21-22. Matt Tappan writes that she's an amazing educator who is a strong advocate for her students and builds a very special bond with each and every one of her students and their families. She runs an incredibly well-organized classroom with the perfect balance of routine and structure while also providing flexibility. She loves and supports each of her students while also holding them accountable in a developmentally appropriate way. She collaborates closely and has supported our students who might need a little bit of extra TLC and structure as they transition into the school setting. She pays attention to the whole child, tending to their social emotional needs as well as their academic needs. She always comes from a strength-based mindset, looking for what her students can do well and building on those successes. She has a great rapport, and her classroom is a very fun place to be each day. She is kind, firm, and really talks to her students like they're humans, and this continues to get her incredible results. She's a wonderful colleague and has contributed to the Council Rock community. She has shared her expertise on the ELA Social Studies Committee, the Building Technology Committee, and the Kindergarten Report Card Committee. In addition, she has served as a trainer and a coach for her peers in technology. The kindergarten colleagues that she worked closely with love to partner with her, as well as the special education team that support the students within her classroom. Her flexibility, sense of humor, dedication to her students, and incredible way of communicating clearly and lovingly are all a part of this excellence. It is for this and so many more reasons, we are so excited to congratulate her on her tenure appointment. Angela Dana. Angela has a bachelor's degree in education with a minor in psychology from SUNY Geneseo, a master's in literacy from SUNY Albany, and did her practicum experience in adolescent literacy through St. John Fisher University. She has certifications in childhood education, literacy, birth to grade 6, and literacy grades 5 through 12. Her teaching experience includes time as a reading teacher 3 through 5 and 6 through 8 in Canandaigua, and then a 6 through 12 literacy intervention special assignment here at the middle school and high school in Brighton. Dr. Rio writes that Angela has been working in the position of 612 literacy intervention specialist at TCMS and BHS, supporting students individually, in small groups, and in the classroom with Tier 2 and 3 interventions. Since she first started in Brighton, Angela has been an incredible collaborator, critical thinker, and advocate for students. She attended SUNY Geneseo for a bachelor's degree in psychology and SUNY Albany for a master's in literacy. She has created systems to evaluate student needs and created an individualized tiered reading support system at BHS. Additionally, she was able to work with TCMS reading teachers to analyze student and program strengths and needs at the middle level and recommend support for students, including differentiated assessments and reading interventions to better meet the needs of all learners. Angela brought her expertise of reading assessments and instruction to our existing programs and helped us rethink and adjust our programming to better meet the needs of all learners. Angela is a gifted practitioner, not only with a deep understanding of literacy instruction, but also with her high energy, positivity, and is a strong asset in collaboration with colleagues. She's incredibly flexible, an incredibly reflective, flexible, and thoughtful educator, and doesn't hesitate to ask questions, to learn more, and offer ideas that encourage us to think more deeply. She always operates in the best interests of students and makes excellent relationships with students seeking to be a part of both the TCMS and BHS school communities. Many teachers have shared that it is a gift having Angela collaborating with teachers and students at the secondary level. It is for these and so many more reasons why we congratulate you on your 10-year appointment. Jill Davis. Jill has a bachelor's in music education voice from Mansfield University and a master's in choral conducting from the Eastman School of Music. She has certifications in music and as a school district leader. She was a music teacher in Palmac before coming to us and joining the Council Rock faculty in 2021. Her music assignments include being an accompanist in 2022 and 23 as well. Dr. Glazer writes that during her time with Council Rock Primary School, Jill taught music to kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and various special education classes. Jill has also served as an accompanist for our older students, a house manager for the VPA productions, and as a chaperone on BHS student field trips with her colleague Sarah Stabell. Dr. Glazer's classroom observations and informal interactions with Jill over the past 2 years have made her believe that she has demonstrated incredible caring, enthusiasm, talent, professionalism, and is extremely collaborative in her personality. She has a tremendous gift for successfully working with all kinds of learners and goes out of her way to develop positive relationships with her students and their parents. Jill works diligently to create an instructional environment that emphasizes individualized instruction, collaboration, and activity-centered learning. Her classroom is an engaging, energetic, and inviting place for students to come and learn. She is an asset to our students, the VPA department, and Council Rock Primary School. We are proud and honored to recognize all of these reasons and so many more in her 10-year appointment. Congratulations. Travis Figueroa. While Travis is making his way up, I want to make a quick comment to everybody, just in case, because there are some very young ones tonight, which is awesome. Like, there's no better sound in this room than a little squeak, maybe a cry. Like, the sound of babies here is really great. It's so much better than public comment. No, I'm just kidding. Public comment is great. Just kidding. But I want to make this point in case anybody else has to go. We hope you'll stay to the end, but if you have to go. To the kids in the audience, if you could put your hands up, and there's some that probably are a little bit smaller, you can put their hands up. all of these things we're saying, these are about your parents. Like, this is amazing. Think about that. Think of like the ways that your moms and dads are impacting the lives of so many people and how just amazing they are for so many. We're really grateful to all of you for giving a little bit up of your moms and dads to care for other kids too. It's pretty special. They're making the world a better place. And to the significant others who are here tonight also, thank you for sharing them with us. Their passion, their energy, everything that goes into their career and working with our children, we know it comes out of your family life a little bit too. And we just want you to know how grateful we are as an organization. You are contributing to our kids being in a better place each and every day by supporting them in their work and in their vocation. So we want to make sure we thank you also. This is a monumental decision for somebody to be awarded tenure. It's a commitment on behalf of the district for, frankly, the rest of their life to be able to do this work with our kids. It's a decision that we want them for as long as we can possibly have them doing this work, and that we don't want to let go of that. And that's a big, big deal. You're all a big part of that, so it's a congratulations to all of you. I just want to make sure we said that in case anybody else has to go. It's an important message for you to hear. So Travis, now that you and your lovely daughter got put on the spot, this is about your dad. Listen to this. He has a bachelor's degree in psychology from the U of R, also a master's in counseling psychology, and his certificate of advanced study in school counseling, all from U of R. He has certification as a school counselor. He was a counselor in Greece before he came to us at Brighton High School, and he has been an esports advisor in 21, 22, and 23. Dr. Hall writes that he has clearly demonstrated his incredibly caring, enthusiastic, talented, and collaborative personality. He's been able to successfully work with all kinds of learners and goes above and beyond to develop positive relationships with his students and their parents. Travis is professional, diligent, compassionate, highly organized, and extremely collaborative. He loves his profession and takes a great deal of pride in all of the things that he does. He has also become a team player and collaborator in the counseling department. He has led educational sessions when presenting at parent nights and at our annual college and career family night. He understands the importance of establishing positive relationships and is respected by students, parents, and colleagues. He provides emotional and academic support to students and assists each with developing the skills necessary to navigate the challenges presented by everyday life. He worked hard to ensure that parents engage in the education process and addresses student and parent concerns in a timely manner. Assistant Principal Ashley Edwards stated the following: he's best known for his willingness and reliability to jump in and help others at a moment's notice, in whatever capacity is needed, even when the situation does not involve one of his students. He's an active listener when working with the students and their families and always tries to honor and uphold their best hopes for ensuring their students' success. We are grateful to have him on our team as a fierce advocate and champion for our students each and every day. He's an asset to our students, our parents, and the counseling department and Brighton High School. It is for this and so many more reasons why your dad, Travis Figueroa, is recommended for tenure this evening.
Yeah, exactly.
Molly Glanville. Molly has a bachelor's degree in education from Plattsburgh State University and a master's in literacy from St. John Fisher University. Certifications in childhood education, early childhood education, students with disabilities, and literacy. She was a reading teacher in Wayland-Cohocton, then a first and second grade teacher in Wayland-Cohocton, was a kindergarten through second grade teacher in Victor before coming to Council Rock in 2021. Mr. Tappan writes that Molly is the quintessential kindergarten teacher, kind, soft-spoken, and loving. When you enter her classroom, it runs like a dream. Students know the routines. Active learning is taking place everywhere, and the overwhelming sense is calm. Because of the way that Molly reflects this mood, her students follow suit. There is still a tremendous amount of joy and fun, but it all takes place within the backdrop of calm. She instills a quiet confidence in her students. She's kind, gentle, supportive, provides great feedback that allows her students to grow, and loves to have families as partners in their learning. She is a very collaborative teammate with her fellow kindergarten colleagues. She's often found co-planning with her teaching partner and meeting with her colleagues to share ideas and gather the best from the rest in order to make her classroom the best it can be. She served on the Math and Science Committee as well as the Kindergarten Report Card Committee. Her kindness, support, and love of each of her students and calm nature are all a part of her excellence and just among some of the many reasons why we recommend her for tenure. Congratulations. Marissa Kendrick. Marissa has her bachelor's in math, adolescent education, and special education from St. John Fisher University, and math, adolescent education from SUNY Brockport, certifications in math 7 through 12, 5 through 9, and students with disabilities 7 through 12 as a generalist. Her teaching experience began in the Lyons Central School District as a math teacher before joining Brighton High School in 2020. She has also taught in the summer school algebra and geometry, and she has also led the Future Teacher Club at Brighton High School in 2021 and 23. Dr. Hall writes that she has a tremendous gift for being reflective of her practice and is always looking for new and innovative ways to meet the needs of her students. She goes above and beyond the call of duty to develop positive relationships with her students and their parents. She frequently has students with her in the morning, during the day, during flex, and after school. She also attends numerous student events after school and on the weekends, and is the advisor, as we said, of the Future Teachers Club. She works tirelessly to create an instructional environment that emphasizes individual instruction and collaboration. Due to her approachable personality and respectful nature, students feel comfortable asking questions and sharing responses during instruction. Matt Como, her assistant principal, noted the following: Marissa Kendrick has been an outstanding teacher in our math department. She loves teaching mathematics and her students, and it shows each day in her classroom. She always goes the extra mile to make sure each student is gaining a deep understanding of mathematics and feels good about it throughout the process. She allows students to productively struggle with the material and helps them feel proud of what they have learned. Students finish her courses having a profound sense of accomplishment and deserved confidence in their mathematical knowledge and skills for future math courses. She's truly an asset to her students. I also say, as a dad who had the Marissa Kendrick experience. To her math department and to Brighton High School, for this and so many reasons more, we are excited to congratulate her on her tenure appointment. Meg McSweeney. And Team McSweeney. So listen, kids, this is your mom. It's incredible. Bachelor's degree in theater from SUNY Oswego and a master's in childhood education from Nazareth University. Certifications in childhood education and students with disabilities. She was a fourth grade teacher in Avon before joining French Road in 2021, also as a fourth grade teacher. Ms. Coggins writes that she's an educator who goes above and beyond daily to ensure the success of her students while building deep and meaningful relationships with each of them as well. Meg is a safe place for her students to take risks, collaborate with peers, while providing a learning environment that meets her students where they are. She's a member of our ENL team and works closely in collaborating with the ENL teacher as they collaboratively support students with a multitude of language and ethnic backgrounds as they become proficient with English as a second language. Her classroom is a warm and inviting environment. It is organized with flexible learning spaces, which creates the environment for the classroom to be a tool for learning. Meg is involved in several professional development opportunities and is able to employ her own learning immediately into her classroom. Most recently, Meg has been incorporating letters and wit and wisdom into her ELA instructional program. When you walk into her classroom, Meg is with the kids, sitting at their level and leaning into their learning. Students respond to her gentle nature and calm approach. Recently, when Meg was observed by Mrs. Wheeler during an ELA lesson, Meg had incorporated a vertical surface gallery walk to make the learning more engaging. During this lesson, Meg challenged students to think and record what they noticed, wonder, and what was new learning as they walked around the room. Meg is open to feedback and reflects upon her practices to enhance student learning. She completes her probationary period demonstrating differentiation and joy in her teaching while creating a community of learning for her students. Her ability to collaborate, be a thought partner, and partner in the learning environment with her team truly stands out. It is for this and so many more reasons why your mom is being recognized, Meg McSweeney, with tenure this evening. Congratulations. That is a great picture. Catherine Muniz. And teaching assistant. Catherine has a bachelor's degree in English and dance from Hobart and William Smith Colleges and a master's in adolescent education from U of R. This is all about your mom. It's so cool. She has certification in English Language Arts 7 through 12 and Literacy 5 through 12. She was a literacy specialist in Pittsburgh before becoming an English teacher in Pennsylvania and then coming back to Brighton High School in 2019 as an English teacher and then part-time and then an English teacher probationary beginning in 2020. She has also served for several years as a college essay instructor and is the freshman class advisor and then the sophomore class advisor as well. Dr. Hall writes that during her time with BHS, Catherine has taught English 9, English 10, AP Lit, and integrated co-taught English special education classes. Tom's personal classroom observation of Catherine and informal interactions over the past 4 years have clearly demonstrated her incredibly caring, enthusiastic, talented, professional, and extremely collaborative personality. Catherine is a tremendous gift for successfully working with all kinds of learners and goes out of her way to develop positive relationships with her students and their parents. Catherine works diligently to create an instructional environment that emphasizes individualized instruction, collaboration, and activity-centered learning. Her classroom is a warm and inviting place for students to come and learn. Assistant Principal Mark Lincoln said that Catherine demonstrates all of the qualities of an exceptional student-centered teacher. He has been particularly impressed with her commitment to connecting with her students and offering them authentic learning experiences. Not only did Catherine bring Shakespeare to life in her AP Lit classroom this year, but she also organized an educational trip to New York City where her AP Lit students could engage in an immersive theatrical Shakespeare production. Catherine is an influential person in the lives of our Brighton High School students as her classroom serves as a space for students to explore literature and better understand this world. She's truly an asset to her students, to the English department, and to Brighton High School. For this and so many reasons more, we say your mom is really, really awesome and congratulate her on her tenure appointment. Rebecca Rizzo. And Team Rizzo, thanks for joining your mom. Soak it up. This is all great stuff about her. She has a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Roberts Wesleyan College and a master's in literacy education from St. John Fisher University, certification in childhood education grades 1 through 6. Was an elementary teacher in the Rochester City School District from 2004 through 21, and then joined us in 2021 at Council Rock Primary School. Mr. Tappan writes that Rebecca is a powerhouse, and her experience and perspectives have been incredibly valuable to her first grade team and the building as a whole. Immediately upon entering Mrs. Rizzo's room, you can feel the joy and love of learning. She works hard to establish high expectations for herself and each of her students. She builds strong routines and allows students to shape those routines. In this way, she gets buy-in from every student as they work as a team to hold each other accountable. She is flexible in her approach, allowing students to display their learning and knowledge in a variety of ways. She is masterful at identifying just what each of her students needs and then setting out to provide for them in order to ensure success. She shows her love and belief in her students each day, and it is because of this mindset that she continues to have students grow and succeed. Throughout the building, Rebecca quickly established herself as a resource for all. She and her co-teacher in ENL have worked to create lessons in ELA that dive deeply into vocabulary and differentiate for all students with visuals, hand motions, and repetition. She has served on the ELA Social Studies Committee and curriculum reviews for the district and the building's Habits of Mind teams. Her experience, dedication to her students, and high expectations are all a part of her excellence, and just some of the many reasons why we congratulate her on her tenure appointment this evening. And why your mom is awesome too. Thank you so very much, and congratulations to everybody. We wish you all the best. And again, thank you, and so impressed with your work and having you a part of the team. I know I asked each of you in your interview, why would we want to trust you with our children? I asked you a very specific question about my own children, particularly my favorite one, and why I would want to trust you with her. And each one of you talked about that in depth, about how much you would care for our children like you'd care for your own. By the way, great evidence of a lot of that spirit tonight. And pretty wonderful, and you've continued to do that and continued to make us proud each and every day that you're a part of this team. So congratulations to you. I'd also say to you, before Mr. Davis gets a chance probably to say the same thing, you are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Yeah. We'd love to have you. However, there's also snacks in the room next door still. Please help yourself and do with your evening whatever you would like to do. We wish you all the best, and again, congratulate you. No takers? No.
No principals, you cannot. We were just noting as we had some people leave how wonderful it was to have so many kids here tonight, seeing parents or aunts or uncles or whatever acknowledge. I do want to make a quick comment. Listening, Dr. McGowan, to your descriptions, I'm greatly appreciative, as I'm sure the board is, of all the work of the principals and the vice principals to be in the classrooms and get some of that fairly and very specific analysis. I know that takes a lot of time, but it gives you great insight into each of these individuals and how wonderful they are with our kids. So just a note of thanks to the principals and their vice principals for the work done to do those observations that allow for these recommendations and approvals. So great work, all you folks back there. Thank you. Next up, we have the opportunity for public participation. If anyone would like to come forward. Seeing none, we will move on. Next, we have a blueprint update from Dr. Rio, Deanna Spagnola, Jeff, Caitlin, and Lou. I will make note that we have notes, requests out through e-news and other communication vehicles about participating in the Blueprint Update Day on, is it Thursday the 27th?
Yep.
Yeah, Thursday, June 27th, so opportunities for parents, staff, obviously us as a board to contribute to the blueprint work that is done every year. So that opportunity is out there. Just fill out the forms and let us know if you're interested. Allison.
Hello. From
baby to blueprint.
You've been waiting to say that.
No, that just came out right now. I was not even waiting. So it's our last blueprint update. As mentioned, we will keep it brief. We are getting into our blueprint work in just a couple of weeks, and you've heard some updates along the way, but just to introduce our priority areas again, mental health and wellness, academic excellence, the student and family experience, staff support and collaborative culture, and safety and planning for the future. And you'll hear from a few of our team members tonight who will introduce themselves before we get started, and we'll kick it off with mental health and wellness.
Here's our goal that we've been focusing on for the entire year. I'm not going to read that right now. I'm going to keep right on going to give an update of where we are at this point, a reflection of since the last blueprint update, and a little bit of what we're thinking about as we look into next year, planning ahead. We've been focusing this year on increasing our access for our students and our families for mental health support services, and we have continued to grow in terms of the wait list and numbers of students who we have been referring and waiting to get access to service, but also the number of days we've been increasing over the course of the school year. And we're really excited to announce I have to give a kudos and a shout to Caitlin and the URMC partnership, because we are exploring and looking in the process of planning a site at 12 Corners Middle School. So that will it will decrease the amount of time traveling from the building. Currently, students walk from the middle school over to the high school. This will give us some more slots of time to service kids and really, again, increase that access. I'm being redundant. We're continuing to plan and use consultation at the building level across K-12 and look at speaking with individual families about individual students, or helping look at our resources and plans overall. I know that both Jeff Green and Caitlin are going to be talking shortly about the surveys that were just recently completed, so I won't go into too much detail about that. Thank you to our staff members, our community, and families for completing those surveys, because that data is very important to the work we're doing ahead next week and moving forward. We continue to look at and create individualized plans for students around re-engagement with school, school avoidance plans. We've been utilizing the URMC consultations to think about those individualized plans, whether that's driving through the parking lot, whether that's coming through one class a day, whether that's coming to the tutoring center, or whether that's phone calls or home visits, all different types of combinations of plans individualized by each family and each student's needs, and we will continue to look at the development of those plans next school year. Along with that, we are excited to share that we have heard a lot in the past about the Aspire program at the high school, and we are currently developing and planning for the Aspire program at the middle school. So we will have alternative programming for students who may struggle with making connections in school, coming to school, fostering larger relationships either with adults or their peers, but creating kind of a school within a school, smaller supportive environment. We're excited to have that at the middle school. And Betsy Paddock will be overseeing both Aspire at TCMS and at the high school, and so we're really excited about the continuity of program and planning that we'll have in place for next school year. With that, we move into lots of different professional development that we will continue, that we have been participating in and looking forward to more in the future. Most recently, the entire district mental health team worked with BOCES and looking at the culture responsive inventory for social workers, therapists, and counselors. We'll be continuing that work the last week of June before we head off to summer. Again, thanks to Caitlin and her organization for making sure that we had access to that support and to that training. Superintendent's Conference Day, the mental health team came together to create mental health and wellness transfer goals. I know Allison will be continuing to talk about the transfer goal work overall, but the mental health team was very excited to participate and create some of that work for looking at our students and as they graduate on and leaving us. And then excited to think about our program, mental health program evaluation will be kicking off in July. We have members of the board who will be sitting on that program eval, our community, staff, parents, and we're excited for that work in July, looking at continuing our growth and development. Allison.
Okay, so academic excellence, just a brief check-in on some of the work that we've done this year. I know that you've heard about it all throughout the year, but just wanted to highlight a few things that kind of wrapped up the year. We wrapped up our first full year of implementing the first transfer goal. And as a reminder, we spent time during Curriculum Council identifying a graduation level exemplar that we could use for what that goal should look like when students leave us here in Brighton. And on our superintendent's conference day in April, teachers met in either K-5 or 6-12 teacher groups to look at student work. And the student work was around the same transfer goal. So we were looking at how students progressed over time towards meeting that goal, which was pretty awesome. So we were able to see what learning looked like across the years for our students in terms of one of our transfer goals. And we haven't had an opportunity to do that in the past. So that was really exciting. And we'll continue that next year with a second transfer goal and take what we learned from this first goal and apply it to our curriculum work and this summer and into the fall. We've also continued with professional development through this year as stated in the blueprint. We worked with Recenter on both of our conference days in the fall and the spring, and lots of great work happened at the high school. So big kudos to Dr. Hall and members of the professional learning team who have an amazing equitable grading practice handbook that has been put together that will start to roll out as we get into next school year. Lots of hard work and effort from his entire team there in collaboration with Julie Kopp and all of our instructional leaders as well. So we're very excited to share that and then begin to share that at TCMS next year as well. I've mentioned, and you've heard the principals mention at the K-5 level all throughout the year about Wit and Wisdom and our Tier 1 ELA program, and that was a big goal for us for this year to roll out that program for teachers in grades 1-4. It's been a huge celebration for our teachers, so much hard work this year into learning and making sure that they were doing the best they could for their students, but really figuring it out for themselves too, and we've seen lots of positive results from that, and I know that will continue to grow over time as we get more into the program in years to come. And just today, we had an amazing math data review. Our instructional leader, Andrea Doyle, our 6-12 instructional leader, along with our K-5 instructional leader, Stefano Monachino, helped to bring teachers together from 5th through 11th grade to look at our math standards across the grade levels and identify where the learning was happening in different units and where the gaps were and where we repeated things and where things were kind of lost for a few years for lots of reasons. It could be because it wasn't in the standards, it could be just how it falls in our units, but their work was fantastic. We haven't had an opportunity to do something like that. It really gave us a focus for our math work going into summer, especially at the 6-12 level, and thinking about how to realign some of our units and our standards, our assessments to see where kids are, and I'm very excited about that. We've also done a review of our supports at 8th through 12th grade, thinking about how math instruction looks in terms of courses students are taking, order of courses they're taking, how we can support 8th graders as they enter the high school. So there have been a few different pieces that have been put into place. And we continue to build habits of mind and building thinking classrooms into our math classrooms to go back to thinking about perseverance and resiliency and all of the things that we want our children to be thinking about as they are math learners, just like every day in all of the work they do. So lots of great work with math. I know that will continue into next school year as well. Now I'll pass it over to Jeff Green. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Hope we're doing well. Get started on the student and family experience. As all of us know, it's the end of the year. There are a lot of celebrations, a lot of rites of passage, a lot of work that's been done that is keeping all of us busy to support and celebrate all of our students and their accomplishments throughout this school year. One of the things that we've been doing a lot of work on in all the buildings are many of the transition activities, things such as assemblies that we've had in multiple buildings, classroom and school visits for different groups of students, and different orientations. I'd like to get a shout out to Ms. Coggins for the awesome 3rd grade night, the combo bingo and family tours by students, student leaders. So it was kind of a nice combo there to get everybody involved and engaged. We continue to do those, and students are really, really excited. Those that are in those transition years, they're really, really excited about going to new buildings. As Deanna had mentioned, under the leadership of Caitlin, the family feedback for this spring's thought exchange has been awesome. The numbers of the amount of families that have participated in this year's survey increased significantly. So I know the leadership team is looking forward to diving in that data this summer and taking some of the feedback from the many diverse families that participated in the survey. So I'll let Caitlin talk more about that later, but we're very, very excited and happy to hear from our families. Student access. This is another shout out to Ms. Kim Lazafame. She didn't know I was going to say this, but our district was able to get some federal funds for a homeless grant, and we recently got a huge donation of hygiene items from local First Baptist Church of Rochester, and I'm just going to throw you under the bus or maybe above the bus. Kim and her husband did an awesome job, not only in going out and buying, using these funds to purchase a ton of hygiene items that literally just last week, a family that was in extreme hardship situation was able to come to my office and was in great need and able to use some of those. So thank you, Kim, and your husband for going out of your way in your own time to do that, but also to sort it all out. But also, we very much appreciate the First Baptist Church. We're going to be giving some of those items to the buildings for when students are in needs in different situations, so they can continue to, with dignity, take care of themselves and their families. And we really appreciate the community support. Also, myself and the building principal have been super busy with the urban suburban interviews. These interviews are so cool, and I got to give another shout out to Dr. Edmonds for we're bringing back the in-person ones, and it's been really great, and we're looking forward to doing that in our other buildings. But many of the families, all they want is another option for their children, and so many of them are excited when they have an opportunity to join our school community here in Brighton, and we are very, very excited to have them joining us. And last but not least, we've had a ton of student leadership across the district where our older students from the high school are engaging all the way down to Council Rock. There are a lot of different things that are going on. Our student CJ was in the mascot uniform at Council Rock during play day, doing some great games with the students, but he, amongst many other students, both at TCMS, at French Road, and at the high school, have been trying to engage with their peers as student leaders, and the younger students always look up to them, and we're looking forward to continuing that as we go on. I look forward to working with everybody in the next couple weeks on our blueprint planning. Thank you.
All right, so my area is related to staff support and collaborative culture. So just a continued effort all year. So not a ton new to report, just continued effort. So thinking about time for faculty and staff to collaborate as it gets crazy in this time of year, but just making sure that staff still have time to connect with each other, continuing to give people time to work together as needed as we start to get into the summer work, any work that people need to do to kind of wrap up things for this school year. You heard Jeff and Deanna mention the SEL survey. So a little bit of a shift from Panorama. So this area was around analyzing that data and addressing building needs. So like they both shared, we have administered the survey for all faculty and staff, students in grades 3 through 12, and families. And like Jeff said, we have the highest number of family responses. So we're starting to establish now the process of what we're going to do as a leadership team to look at this survey data, as building level teams, and then various committees. One thing that we've kind of reflected on is doing some of that work before the blueprint day, making sure that really we've had a lot of eyes on those survey responses so that that can guide our work as well as those building specific goals. Continuing to foster joy, so lots of great activities as we kind of wrap up the year. One thing to highlight since the last time we reported was each of the buildings did different wellness activities, so it looked different, but each building kind of had their own thing. Like at French Road, they had different people come in and run different wellness activities. We did it here at Central Office as well. It might be why you saw some people out taking a little walk for a little 5-minute break, but just really, again, trying to find ways for people to connect with each other. Continuing to work with restorative practices. So again, kind of that shift of like, what have we accomplished in this year and where do we need to go with that work? So there's going to be next steps and initiatives that are worked through as a leadership team this summer. And then again, just ensuring that as administrators and leadership team, we are really focused on clear and consistent communication and follow through with all of our staff.
And last but certainly not least, safety and planning for the future. So over the course of the year, we've been presenting on updates on systems related to school safety and security under the leadership of Director Teresa Mosier. We've also made recommendations for prudent improvements to our facilities. So during the course of the year, as we've been essentially auditing our safety and security systems, we recognize the need to better formalize our plans and our decision trees. We landed on a software with partner CLPS, and we're in the process of implementing that. And again, it's more of a process to formalize all of our building level safety plans, our district level safety plans, all the procedures that we have related to behavioral threat assessments and any other threats to the school environment. So we're using a comprehensive software with strategic partners that outlines and again just documents all of our decisions, what we're doing, how we're going to do it, so we're consistent and thorough in our approach in every instance. In addition, we've been working diligently to implement the Workplace Violence Prevention Act. What we've outlined here is the requirements of the Workplace Violence Prevention Act. So the steps that are required is the risk evaluation. And again, we've partnered with CLPS to do that initial risk evaluation. We've set out surveys to our district safety teams, to our building leaders, and we're working on documenting all of those risks. The Board of Education in February finalized its policy statement, so that's on the books. And with that, we're working again with CLPS and our leaders to document what our prevention program will be, and again to formalize that in a software in a very transparent fashion. We have pushed out some training to all of our faculty. We're asking them to complete that by year end, and that will become an annual training, an annual refresh of the rules and regulations under this particular plan, but also educating our workforce about the risks that are inherent to our system. With that reporting system, we will utilize that platform for that, and again, formalize that and have consistent direct responses to any concerns that are reported. And certainly that will also help us maintain the records and reports that are required for reporting and transparency to our school community. On the capital project side, we are very pleased with the voter support of our capital project. On the left-hand side, we have the project scope that was approved. 87.3% was the voter approval rate for this particular project, $21.85 million. Where we are in that process right now is we're in the schematic design phase. So we're having a lot of program meetings with our architects and our school building level stakeholders, building what that program will be. The scope that's moving probably most quickly is the design of the athletic fields. And so we're showing you here a couple of sketches that our site engineers and architects working with our athletic director have come up with. So we're looking at investment of that back field and different configurations, again, that maximize opportunity, playing opportunity, and enhancing our athletic program. So with that, we'd entertain any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, Lou, I'm going to ask one clarifying question. We will have, in regards to that capital project, and this has been brought up before, there will be in the future opportunity for public participation, or we'll be doing some communications for the community as part of that, the bigger project. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. On a date to be determined. Thank you all. As I noted before, we have the Blueprint Day on Thursday, June 27th, which will create the opportunity for parents and volunteers, as well as obviously staff and the board to perform. And we thank you all for that update and the work you did. We'll make one other note, trying to keep it positive. I like it, Jeff. You know, that whole throw somebody under the bus is very negative. The above the bus recognition, I'm going to use that now as above the bus. I think that's really great. So much appreciated. Let's be positive about it. All right, we've got some other business items to address. Approval first of the reserve fund plan for June 30th, 2024. You've had a chance to review that on the agenda, obviously. As an audit team, we've also had a chance to look at questions with regards to the reserve fund plan. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Carrie Lynn.
Second?
Seconded by Sue. All those in favor? Next up, we have a couple of memorandums of agreement. First, approval of memorandum of agreement with the Brighton Association of Educational Office Professionals. As with these other documents, you've had a chance to review them. Any questions with regards to this document? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Esther,
Second.
seconded by Carrie Lynn. All those in favor? Next up is another memorandum of agreement, this time with the Non-Teaching Supervisors Association. Questions with regards to that? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Susan,
Second.
seconded by Christina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Finally, a bid for, this is a reapproval of a past bid because prices change with produce. It just happens. Appreciate that our financial folks are on top of this and making sure we're following all the appropriate rules. But this is a reapproval of a cooperative bid for fresh produce. Questions with regards to this bid? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Carrie Lynn,
Second.
seconded by Esther. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we've got reports. First are our financial reports. Make sure I say the right ones here really quick. Both the financial summary and the treasurer's report. These ones do require approval. Any questions with regards to these reports? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Susan,
Second.
seconded by Christina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Layla,
All right.
our student representative. I have to give you a proper introduction. I'm sorry, because this is your last meeting with us.
Is.
Tell us what your next step is.
I am going to Hamilton College.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And I'm planning to major in economics and possibly a minor in sociology.
Outstanding. Well done.
All right. So for academics, the first day of finals and regents is this Friday and will continue until June 25th. The AP chemistry students will go to FRES on June 14th to give the students a quick chemistry lesson. The AP Physics C students will go to Council Rock next week to give a quick physics lesson. As for sports, sectionals have come to an end and some fall sports have begun informational meetings. Last week on the 31st, 41 Brighton athletes signed their letters of intent. As for clubs, Fashion Club held a student-run fashion show with student directors, student makeup artists, and student models on June 4th, which attracted various students and allowed students to represent their cultures and ethnicities. South Asian Student Society held a celebration for Holi today. Various clubs such as Friend and Me, Climate Club, and Serenity Seekers are holding their final meetings this week to celebrate the end of the year. Trapezoid is holding a car wash fundraiser this Saturday on June 15th, and the Model UN Club held a small conference with just Brighton students on June 7th to discuss the interactions between Native Americans in Europe. As for Executive Council, we held our final meeting last week and have begun preparations for next year's homecoming. We held our majorly successful Spring Fest on May 24th, which was a day filled with talent acts from students and teachers, club tables, games, and a pep rally. In other news, Brighton seniors held their decision day on May 23rd, where seniors wore merch relating to their future plans and took a class photo on the turf. That day was also their senior bash, which was a night filled with dinner, laser tag, mini golf, and karaoke. The Brighton County Youth Bureau is looking for book donations for elementary school kids, and the class of 2026 is holding a fundraiser at Scoop and Twist on June 13th from 3 to 8 p.m. And with this being my last meeting, I just want to thank everyone for making this such a wonderful year.
Thank you very much for your service. Is there somebody you want to introduce?
Oh, yes, this is my successor, Dagny. She'll be
Hi.
taking over for next year.
Dagny, welcome. We look forward to hearing
Thanks,
from you.
I'm really excited.
You've got big shoes to fill. Layla's done an outstanding job. I'm sorry, Dr. McGowan.
No, I just want to, I think this is interesting to point out. The legislature, the state legislature this week, in their closing moments of their session, passed a bill in both houses that would require school districts to have student representatives meet with the Board of Education. And it's on the governor's desk. Hopefully it'll be signed. It probably will be. But it was so interesting to me to hear people across the state talk about this. And a prideful moment for me to think, that's a no-brainer. That's what we do. And if everybody knew Layla, they would say, of course, that makes perfect sense. Which actually most districts and superintendents feel very strongly about that and feel great about that. You're a great example of exactly why they should do it. So
Thank you.
for your service. Really
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
And good luck next year. Let us know how you're
Thank you.
doing.
I will.
Okay. Next up, we'll do our Monroe County School Board Association reports. Labor relations, we had our last meeting back in May, and I discussed that, so we're all set there. I suspect that will be the case for some of the others, information exchange.
I met last in April, so.
Okay. And legislative?
It's Karen.
Yeah,
Ms. Herron.
I think
Okay.
she reported on our last meeting.
Yeah, okay, I think that's the case. I will report quickly from BOCES. Grateful that we have past leadership from this board still involved. In this case, I'll first address Mark Kokanovich for BOCES, sent me an update for that. They've approved their administrative, capital, and operating budgets for the 2024-2025 school year. They held a great ribbon-cutting ceremony. We had the chance to go over there last year, obviously, just an amazing facility. On May 23rd, and hosted a bunch of building tours. They completed a pretty significant renovation, created some great learning spaces over there. So, you know, we've got to do better about getting back over there. We have a lot of students over there taking advantage of that, and that program continues to grow. Just two other quick notes from Mark. They've got a letter of intent with the Penfield Central School District for some additional program capacity, some space for some additional program capacity. And they have they've got so many different programs over there, and we've seen a number of them. They've got 20-plus graduation events taking place throughout the month of June, so they're bopping around to a bunch of different places. I can't say enough great things about what gets done over at BOCES. Thankful for Dan White for setting up the tour, but also for Mark for donating his time. The other person who's still involved, this will surprise none of you, is Marv Sachs, is involved with the Upstate Board of Directors meeting. He did go to the last session on May 28th and sent along just a very brief update. Thanks to Brighton Central Schools for supporting the Institute. I'm just reading his note here. It said the Educational Office Professionals Conference was held on March 15th at Woodcliff, and Brighton participated. Conference got very high ratings, and Marv just sends along his thanks for allowing him to be our community's representative. We thank him for his time in that as well. And quickly do other board member reports, starting with you, Carrie Lynn, and we'll work this way. Anything else to report?
I have no report.
Okay, Esther?
Nothing to report.
Okay.
Just a couple things we as a board did that might have forgot about. We attended a meeting with the Student Senate at Brighton High School, which was really enjoyable. We got to talk with student leaders a little bit about what the Board of Education does and ask them for their input. It was a wonderful morning. And then we also attended as a board the Spring Celebration, which is a celebration of our teachers, and we recognize teachers who are retiring and who've put in significant years of service, which was also a very nice event.
Great, thank you. Thank you for bringing those. Love the meeting with the Student Council. It's always one of our favorite meetings of the year, so thank you for remembering that. Christina?
I was just going to say that we also celebrated the end of the year with Monroe County School Board Association, and there's a succession in leadership in that organization. The group has also helped facilitate a school board members of color meeting, so there have been 2 meetings, I think, as school boards across the state actually diversify representation on the school boards. And the New York State School Board Association DEI Committee, we had our last final meeting of this academic year, talked about next steps, the priorities, you know, sort of reviewed what we've done in the last 3 years, priorities for the future. And there will be a statewide survey out to school board members coming out in the next month or so that we can learn more about school board members here in New York State. So NYSBA will be doing that.
I'll also remember to note that at the end of year, the annual end of year meeting for the Monroe County School Board Association, Karen Hatch, who's unable to be here tonight, was recognized for her leadership of the legislative committee and a series of different legislative initiatives. A ton of her time goes into doing that and making sure that we're keeping all of our representatives up to date with things. And speaking of representatives, Sarah Clark took some time to acknowledge Dr. Christina Lee as a woman of distinction recently, just because of the work she's doing in so many different avenues. I know it seems everyday sort of thing to you, but we want to acknowledge how great you are. So a round of applause for Christina.
Woman of distinction.
Woman of distinction.
Oh my goodness.
I'll also quickly acknowledge, had our contractors meeting yesterday. I always say this, our buildings team is amazing. Appreciate Lou's leadership, but the folks we have in the buildings doing work in these buildings all the time to repair things and to get in front of all sorts of issues and initiatives to make sure things are done correctly and we have great learning spaces. Just always want to acknowledge them. So appreciate that. Nicole.
Great, thank you. So nice end closing report. I'll start with Council Rock. You can see Carol Flanagan and Andrea Yaman would like to thank the district for the opportunity to attend and present at the first annual Habits of Mind conference in Vista, California. They talked about the maker mindset and habits of mind and how those are connected. Carol also worked with the Wonder Grove founder, Terry Thorin, and talked about how to do habits of mind animations with students. And you can see an activity that we actually all did at Council Rock, they were able to do with the founders of Habits of Mind, which was really cool. Mrs. Genzel would like to thank the PTSA for the David and Nancy Beck grant for the supplies for the Yoga Mindfulness Club. And to get the certification, she's had 34 students so far as part of the yoga club, and you can just see some of the fun activities and stretches that they're doing. Ms. Stack, a special ed ICT teacher with Mr. Benedict, she has chicks in her classroom as an extension to the development of living things unit. They learned about how they grow, change, but the students were very engaged and very eager to be part of this experience. It had a very big impact on students with social, emotional, behavioral issues, as it was something that they could earn time to go and spend with the chicks throughout the day. So you can see some wonderful experiences there. Kindergarten Ennell students in Lori Moulton's class learned all about farm vocabulary. They met a farmer from South Dakota, practiced the vocabulary, and then turned that into a breakout EDU lesson. And this was just a link to something that was posted on the website with Mrs. Granat and Mrs. Much's class teaming with a classroom in Poland. So that was really special. At Fraz Coding Club, driving their Dash robots through the school. And then they meet after school in the makerspace to discuss hardware, software integration, used Makey-Makeys, built circuits, LEDs, and then used conductive materials like Rice Krispie treats to do some experimenting. Rachel Kossoff shared that they went to the walking field trip for the sand patch on the Erie Canal. They learned all about the history and learned how Rochester was the first boom town of the area. Mrs. Maz's 5th grade class prepared for state testing by learning, coming up with personal mantras and how that can help you focus. They also decorated note cards, and then when they came in for the tests, there were celebrities cheering them on with their mantras. In Rainbow Club, they got ready for Pride Month by doing student-led projects, painted a large flag banner for the cafeteria, created presentations, recorded a PSA, and then made flags to hand out to homeroom teachers. Students in Mrs. Dashiell's class, which looks amazing, earned a glow day for their classroom, and they got to learn about bioluminescent animals and work with a highlighter and have a dance party. That looks amazing. Frez bands were very busy. They had a collaboration with Rochester New Horizons, which is made up of retired professionals and senior citizens. And then they also had duets and really just got to know each other and learn from shared experiences. Red and Blue Band had their final concert. They got to play Journeys Any Way You Want It, which looks amazing. The Red Wings game came off without rain initially. There were 1,500 people from Council Rock and Frez who attended, and the choruses and band performed the Star Spangled Banner, and then they did the Meadowbrook Parade on June 2nd. At TCMS, One World Goods visited a 6th grade classroom to talk about fair trade. This was a little TCMS students were able to explore root robots with Mrs. Kugel, who's the 612 technology. And they learned how to code robots. They also used it in the Spanish class and in an AP computer science class. So there's a link to the PowerPoint for what they were able to do there. Mrs. Liu shared that the TCMS courtyard had, because thanks to the Nancy Beck Fund, has a whole class set of weatherproof Adirondack chairs. And then they also have a set of board games and Rubik's Cubes that they can use outside. And TCMS Strong has their 2024-2025 leadership group members. And you needed to complete an application and have teacher recommendation. They will be mentors to the incoming 6th graders and facilitate 6th grade orientation and talk about inclusive language protocols. TCMS jazz bands performed at the Lilac Festival. Bethany Cripps and Justin Perez were the directors. And then Katie Lambert made the most amazing day in the life at TCMS. If you haven't looked through it, it's really cool. So the link is where it says May 2024 day at TCMS. If you look through it, it's really awesome. At the high school, Mrs. Pickering and Understanding Design class utilized the makerspace, used sewing machines to help create caps for Golisano Children's Hospital, and then used a laser cutter to make some of their own. They were just in awe, and I couldn't get over the smiles. So you always talk about the smiles. I love the smiles at the elementary, primary, and then to see them on these high school students' faces were just awesome. Students were coming back during their free time to use the facility. Mr. Conroy's economics and college class had the Shinshanim, Dana and Uri, who came and presented on the Israeli economy. Just great for the cultural exchange piece. Mr. Smith's AP Environmental Science class experimented with climate action kits, and Stacy Kugel helped with that again. They made solar panels, soil monitoring machines, autonomous vehicles. It just went on and on. Persistence was the word of the day, and there's a link to their PowerPoint. Masterminds team made it to the finals. Erin Von Strom and Tricia Zeller had 2 community service projects from the Aspire program. They decorated made window clings and frames for St. John's Home, and then decorated rocks to place around the community. And to finish up, the K-12 art show was well attended, and it was bittersweet because Jen Carter and Lisa Jordan are retiring. So great pictures. Thank you.
Thank you. All year you've been coming here, showing us so many students with great smiles, undertaking a myriad number of things, and I know you've got to reach out to a bunch of teachers to get some of this. So we thank you for your time, because it makes a difference, and these pictures, as we always say, are absolutely fantastic. So thank you. You would be amazed that people have already started putting things in for September.
Oh,
So
wow.
Buckle up. And I appreciate you acknowledging Jen Carter and Lisa Jordan. We got to see them at the BTA event, and they were well recognized for their experience, and we've all had kids who've had them and had great experience with them, so appreciate you pointing that out. Dr. McGowan.
I have nothing new to report other than we're super excited for the Blueprint Day, and of course graduation next week also should be just fantastic.
Have you taken care of the weather?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be beautiful. Dr. Hall, right? Amazing. Love that.
Perfect.
Quick.
You did right. No question about it.
I took from that I think it was a French Road piece, mistakes are your space to grow. I like that. I appreciate that. Now quickly with the consent agenda, we've got an approval of personnel changes, approval of the committee on the SPED report, as well as approval of committee on the preschool SPED report, series of fundraising activities for September and end of May to the first part of June for the Fashion Club. I'm sorry, that was already addressed. And as we always do, we'll read out the gifts. In this case, a gift in the amount of $300 to the Brighton Central School District Dennis Miller Scholarship Fund from Dr. Tracy Glazer, which is greatly appreciated. Questions with regards to the consent agenda? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Carrie Lynn.
Second?
Seconded by Sue. All those in favor? Motion to adjourn.
Karen. You want this?
Okay, so moved.
Moved by Esther,
Second?
seconded by Sue. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
This has been a special presentation from the Brighton Central School District Board of Education.